People are always curious what I season my food with. They're usually surprised when I tell them it's just salt and pepper, but this is the most important seasoning there is. This is part of a series where I share simple techniques that make food better. Seasoning isn't about making food salty, it's about making food taste more like itself. The first thing that matters is even distribution. Salting from a little higher helps spread it evenly across the surface. This is why you see chefs seasoning their meat from high above what they're actually seasoning. The second thing that matters the most is timing. Meat needs time to absorb seasoning. Seasoning right before cooking only flavors the outside. That's why when I did this large standing rib roast, I actually seasoned it and put it in the fridge uncovered 24 hours before I even cooked it. I prefer using kosher salt for a few really important reasons. The first thing is there's actual texture to it, so I can pinch it and I can feel it in my fingers and I know how much I'm seasoning on my meat. It's a lot easier to control with kosher salt, and once you choose a brand that you want to work with, make sure you stick with that one, because every single salt is more or less salty than another one. One quick note on salt. I don't know a single chef that cooks with table salt or iodized salt. The grains are very fine, which makes it easy to overseason because you can't actually grip it and feel it in your fingers. And the iodine that they fortify that salt with can leave a slight aftertaste when you're cooking, so it actually changes the flavor of all the food that you're seasoning with it. A common mistake when seasoning is waiting until the very end to season, and by then the flavor doesn't have time to settle in. It's only on the outside surface of whatever that is that you're cooking. This approach works for steaks, roasts, chicken, and pork. Once it becomes habit, it's hard to cook any other way. Honestly, even if I'm making a soup or I'm cooking some kind of sauce, I'll season everything as it goes into the pan, so everything is getting seasoned with salt, not just at the very end. One thing to keep in mind though is if you are reducing something like say a stock or a sauce, you really don't want to aggressively season it too much because that seasoning could become overpowering once the sauce becomes reduced and it's the right consistency. That's the technique. Simple, intentional, and repeatable. Subscribe to see more techniques like this that actually work.